Hi, everyone. This is my book review of the book of Learning and Forgetting by Frank Smith, and my name is Leah Martin. So, when we talk about the summary of this book, what I found were the most important parts would be how did we come to move away from the classical view of learning to the official view of learning? What caused a change? And once you started getting into the book, I found that when schools started grouping children by their age, instead of having everybody in one schoolhouse where there was peer tutoring going on and older children assisting younger children, we removed that opportunity for children to learn from each other when we placed them in classrooms with only children their age. So all of a sudden, the classical view of learning was moved to the official view, and learning became a matter of effort and was measured by test scores. Although we know that the classical view of learning that we learn from those around us is true for everyone, people outside of classrooms and those who believed in behaviorism began to dismantle classical learning by imitating the Prussian army and its structure. So that's sort of when the tide began to turn towards the official view of learning. These are some of the big points from the book that I found sort of resonated with me. These points are coming from an educator's point of view, like myself, which is kind of the role I was taking on as I was reading. Um, Learning can be determined by observation. It's not always data driven, which is, sort of in opposition of what we're told as educators today. It's not a matter of if students are learning, but what are they learning? Are they learning to love learning? Are they learning that they're not math people? What are they taking away from their experiences in the classroom? Experience, collaboration, and immersion in tasks create deep understanding and learning at its most true level. The official view of learning and tests go hand in hand. So if we come to remove ourselves from the testing aspect of learning, then we're sort of getting back to the classical view. Something that I really thought was important was to demonstrate what it means to learn in the classical way, and people around you will follow suit, follow in your footsteps as you do that. Um, the classical view is learning is nothing like the official view we has adopted as a culture. Collaboration and experience with people around you can create an authentic learning environment that deepen our understanding and in turn inspire others around us to do the same. Recommendation for this book is that anyone who is a stakeholder in education, works with children, or has children should read this book. Anyone who is responsible for teaching someone else in any capacity should read this book. And I think that means most people should be reading this book. And the why to that is because I felt like this book helps stakeholders in all capacities in our community to realize that the classroom environment has shifted from celebrating learning to finding ways to measure learning, sort of taking out the most true parts of learning. These are some of the memorable quotes that I found in the book I was highlighting as I was reading. Um, We rarely forget the interests, attitudes, beliefs, and skills that we acquire simply by interacting with the significant people in our lives. And who we are, and other people know who we are from the clubs, formal and informal, with which we associate ourselves, from the company we keep. So, quotes one and two make me think about those people I've placed in my life by choice. What does a company that I keep say about what I believe? This was an excellent exercise to reflect upon significant people around me and what I've learned from them, and also what I am reflecting by being a part of their formal and informal clubs. The next three quotes, the main thing we learn when we struggle is to learn that learning is a struggle, and you will never learn anything you want to learn if you are not confident in your learning ability. People always learn from what they are doing. Um, those three quotes are reflective more on my point of view as an educator. And it really made me think about what type of environment am I fostering when I consider or refuse these three valid major points in my classroom. So when I see a child that is very clearly struggling, am I making it into like a healthy struggle where they feel like they're being challenged? Or is it something that I'm showing them, see, this is very difficult, school is very hard, and it only gets harder the older that you are? So, finding the distinction between a healthy, challenging struggle that we strive for, and also intervening as an educator when the activities that we have planned and delegated for these students are not giving us the correct outcome, and when to sort of intervene and change directions on those. Um, these were some questions that I was considering as I was reading. Some points that I thought were important to think about. What does putting this book into action in my classroom look like? How can I do this with second graders? Um, and more specifically, kind of what am I forcing children to memorize and isolate in their knowledge that I could connect together either interdisciplinary or through problem based situations where I can encourage collaboration on and bring to life to my for my students so it doesn't feel so stagnant, rote, and concrete, and is more of a learning experience with their peers. So, these are some things that I wanted to consider as I move forward in my role as an educator, how I can sort of foster these environments where there's some real meaningful learning happening.